Okay, day 542 since delivery. I have, in the last video you might have seen that we did slip the body on. I've already lifted it back off to do some modification. Getting this thing to fit is a lot of fun. Not really, but yeah, actually it is fun. But there is, the frame is far from perfect, and of course so is the shell. So making everything match up. I mean, we're trying to get everything down to the inch to be exact. So some of the things I've had to do, number one, there's enough flexibility in the shell. You can definitely, one person can lift it up and down. And what I've done and how I've done that is by using these, I'm at a loss for it. It's a late night, actually. I don't know what time it is, but maybe 1 in the morning or so. These things, my goodness. Clamps, there we go, found it. Okay, so utilizing clamps, I'm able to raise and lower just a little bit at a time, pull the side lips up to get under it to make my changes. One of the main changes, which I did read ahead of time, is that the metal on these side panels here and back here are too far back. And so we're trying to get that shell down and far enough forward, because you actually tighten the jack mounts up on the back first. But we need this striker plate to be about 1/4 inch, 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch behind this lip. And originally it was just touching up against it, and apparently that will affect how the door swings and mounts. So I'm trying to get it to go further forward. The only way to do that, because it is tight, is by trimming about 1/4 inch off the side panel and the back panel. And apparently everybody on the forums does the same thing. But if you're needing to go through this part of the process, there's a tool that I'm definitely going to recommend to make light work of it. Right here, this is a 10 snipper drill attachment, and it just doesn't get any easier than that. This took me probably 10 minutes to do this. I took the bulb seal off and did the side panel on both sides and that back piece. And what you're left with is, there's my 1/4 inch coming off of it. So I just drew a line, ran my thumb along it, and it's very easy to cut that, trim the bulb seal down. I had a high point here on these corners, there and there, and then right about here is where it really started to run. In fact, you can see it kind of tearing into the bulb seal. A lot of builders don't put the bulb seal on the first try. They have it off and fit everything, but then some other people say, well, it's better to go ahead and have it on. I found it easier to have it on because when I put it on, I know it did rip up a little bit, but when I put the shell on, I can look at the bulb seal, which the shell doesn't rest on it. The shell rests on the jack mounts. And so I can look at the bulb seal, and if it's full flex, like if it's all the way full, then that tells me it's not resting on it. And then if it's squished down a lot, I know where the pressure points are. So for me, it was way easier to see what needed to be trimmed based off of what was happening to that bulb seal. So got that trimmed up, and while I have it up, there's a couple other things I did. One, before I lifted it up, I went ahead and ran a piece of tape and marked, trying to bring this about 1/2 inch, this, I think it's called the cow lip, I think, but 1/2 inch off to make sure there's enough gap for my dash. I noticed it was a little tight on one side, not quite so tight on the other, and that had mostly to do with I needed to bring this left side up more than the driver's side. So passenger side was a little bit further back. It was hitting the strike plate a little bit tighter. And then also bringing this down. I do know I already have a project ahead of me. This mount and the one on the far end for the dash are up under the cowl too much. And so what I'm going to do is get an L bracket, and I'm going to tack it to the bottom of this bar, and the L will come down flush, and then I'll mount another one of these into the L. And the good thing is, on my dash, when I recovered it, it's over there, but when I recovered the dash, I did not go ahead and put those holes back in the dashboard. So this way, I kind of was thinking ahead that maybe I would have to make some changes to that, and sure enough, I do. So I don't have any ugly holes that I'll have to try to hide. But I do need to put those outside knobs. I use those hand knobs that I found, so I can easily remove the dash later at a time needed. Another thing that I've done, this body, especially the hood portion, floats. It doesn't really touch and rest on the 3/4 inch sidebars, but if you'll see there, in fact, I took some tubing, just some hose, some thick hose, and I took an angle grinder, a bench grinder, sorry, and just made a couple slits in the hose. I put one there and one there. And what that's going to do is give it a little bit something to rest down on. There's one more there. I kind of left one. I use self-tapping screws, but I left one undone so I could show the video what I've done. So just something simple like that. And mostly that's going to take a little bit of pressure off of the, not much, but a tiny bit of pressure off of the front jack mounts. And you know, I really want to avoid cracking, because I've heard some people say they crack, some say they don't. I do want to remove any element of that. So if I take a little pressure off those jack mounts, that'd be good. And then on the back jack mounts, I am going to do the Kleiner modification. I don't know who Kleiner is, but thanks for your idea, because it's a good one. So the Kleiner mod has these, I'm using 1 3/4 inch couplings. So 7/16 threaded couplings, coarse threaded couplings that'll go stick out about that far. And instead of having the full piece go from all the way out here, you know, one long screw, which is actually this guy right here. Yeah, I'm just going to give you an idea. Instead of having this long piece sticking like this all the way down, we'll get a better view. It will actually, this one, this bolt here will be maybe an all thread, or I might even get the same kind of carriage bolt, just a little bit shorter, and it will meet up with that coupling, and that will allow me to easily take it off. And if I need to pull the shell off for whatever reason, this shell's coming off a few times easily during the body work, and getting back under this one and the same one over here is really tough. The one below it, not near as hard, but still not fun. And so if I can have those permanently mounted, those couplings, then I can just from the front end or from the back end, the outside, you know, unscrew it and lift it up if I need to. So just like a few things I've done with the trans tunnel, the dashboard, I want to make it serviceable. I hope I don't have to service a lot, but I really don't want it to be such a headache to service things or make changes that I avoid taking on projects to make changes because I'm having to go back and unrivet things. I want to be able to unscrew things, and especially on the road if there's a problem by hand, even on certain areas. But that is kind of what I've done for now. I'm about to put this shell back down. I've already dropped it for a second, pushed it forward. I could tell I got the distance I was hoping for. And then I will go ahead and tighten those jack mounts up, waiting on my Kleiner modification stuff. It'll be coming in middle of the week, so I got a few days. I'll have to kind of bide some time doing some other things. There's plenty of other things to do, but that is where we're at right now. So day 542 since delivery. If you're building one and watching this, hope that helps. What I did was another tool idea. I've been using ChatGPT to pull information from the forums. So instead of trying to find one idea, everybody has a different opinion on how to do things. I'm using ChatGPT. I'm grabbing the link from the forum and from FF Cars and Factory 5, grabbing the links from how to do certain ideas and how people are doing things, and coming up with a general consensus of what maybe is the best idea. And that seems to work. So I'm able to print an outline of, okay, here's what most people think is a good idea for each item that I'm tackling. So it's new, I'm still learning it, but helped me a lot. Thanks for watching. Okay, there it is back on. Now that I've got the trimmed up and I've got it pushed forward appropriately, and I say appropriately, you'll notice like this is the gap I'm talking about. So we're going to see about a gap of about a 1/4 inch from what I understand for that plate to the wall there. This is something that there was always a lot of photos I'd seen on forums, but they were kind of like this and kind of hard to understand. But that's what I think we're shooting for. When I did that, the line that I've marked under this cowl, well, now that I pushed it up even further, we're touching. So that blue line is what's going to get trimmed all the way across. It's a little bit slightly wider over there already compared to over here, so it gets a little wider here. I'm gonna have to bring that out a little bit further though. And then as you can see, my button that you can't even really see it. The other button here, the threaded hole, is about right there. So again, I'm gonna move it over a little bit, put a tab right about here somewhere. I'll have to look on the dash and make sure that I'm not hitting anything. I know there's a pretty big space there. I'll mirror it with the other side, so I still have 5 nice points for the dash to mount in. I don't have a crossbar going down. I removed that because of the AC, so that takes a little bit of strength and integrity from this bar away. But what I did do is my dash, if you've seen some of the other videos, I've got that dash extension that I made that bolts down to the trans tunnel. So that'll provide, there should not be any rattle whatsoever from that. So anyways, that's it, what it looks like now. And really happy with the tubes that I put on. You can't see them, but they brought that up and it's just resting really nicely on the tubes. It actually evened out that bar and this one here, because a minute ago that one was setting a little bit lower than this one was. And again, it floats, so it's not really, but what it did is more than anything, it brought this one up just slightly enough to even them out. That should make the hood go on a little bit more flush and even too. I would like to test the hood and put the hood down, but because I don't have the hole cut in mine, this little guy's going to get in the way. And so before I cut the big hole, I'll probably just drill a nice hole right there in the center for me to set it down, get it trimmed up, and get it fitting correctly before I cut that hood scoop hole out for it. That's it for now though.